Centuries ago, the fate of a royal child could shape the destiny of an entire nation. Heirs were meticulously groomed from birth for war, diplomacy, and leadership, expected to embody the strength, wisdom, and divine favor of their bloodline. But what happened when a royal child was born different, unable to speak clearly, walk easily, or learn quickly? In the eyes of kings and queens, this was not merely a personal tragedy, but a scandal that threatened the monarchy's carefully curated image of perfection. At Empress Secrets, we are dedicated to uncovering the hidden stories of royal children born with Down syndrome, a genetic condition caused by an extra chromosome 21, which leads to distinct physical features like almond-shaped eyes, a flatter face, smaller ears, and health challenges such as heart defects, thyroid conditions, and developmental delays. Once misunderstood as a curse, a sign of weak bloodlines, or even a divine punishment, these children were often hidden from the world, institutionalized, or, in some cases, falsely declared dead while still alive to preserve royal reputations. If these forgotten stories touch your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Empress Secrets to join us in bringing their lives into the light where they always belonged. Down syndrome, caused by an extra copy of chromosome 21, affects physical and intellectual development, resulting in characteristics that were stigmatized for centuries. Before medical science understood genetics, these differences were feared, often attributed to supernatural causes, moral failings, or ancestral sins. In royal families, where every heir was expected to project strength and divine right to rule, a child with Down syndrome was seen as an unbearable shame, a flaw that could destabilize dynasties. Monarchies across Europe and beyond operated under a culture of secrecy, where any perceived imperfection in the bloodline could undermine their authority. For example, in the 18th century, Gregorio Marconi, an Italian nobleman born with Down syndrome, was hidden away in a remote villa and declared dead by his family to avoid public disgrace. Similar practices were common in the Habsburg dynasty, where children with visible disabilities were sent to secluded estates or cloistered in religious institutions. The fear of tarnishing the royal image drove families to extreme measures, erasing these children from history. At Empress Secrets, we believe every child deserves to be remembered, no matter their differences. Please like, share, and subscribe to support our mission to tell these untold stories and honor those who are forgotten. The Bowes-Lyon sisters, Nerissa and Katherine, born in 1919 and 1926, were first cousins of Queen Elizabeth II and part of the extended British royal family. From a young age, their severe intellectual disabilities, possibly Down syndrome, led to their placement in the Royal Oldswood Hospital in Surrey, a long-term institution. Shockingly, their family erased them from public memory, with official records falsely listing them as deceased, despite their being alive. Nerissa remained at Oldswood until her death in 1986, and Katherine until 2014, with reportedly few, if any, visits from relatives. Their existence remained hidden until the 1980s when journalists uncovered their story, sparking public outrage and debate over their treatment. This case reveals how, even in the 20th century, royal families prioritized reputation over compassion, choosing to hide their own kin rather than support them openly. The Bowes-Lyon sisters' story is a heartbreaking reminder of the human cost of shame and secrecy, a story that Empress Secrets is committed to sharing. Please like, share, and subscribe to help us continue this vital work of giving a voice to the voiceless. Princess Alexandrine of Prussia, born in 1915, offers a contrasting yet equally poignant story. Diagnosed with Down syndrome, though the term was not widely used at the time, she was not institutionalized but remained with her family, occasionally appearing in public photographs and commemorative postcards. However, Alexandrine was excluded from royal duties and lived a quiet life, shielded from the scrutiny of the Prussian court, until her death in 1980. Her private acceptance but public exclusion underscores the monarchy's need to maintain an image of perfection, even when compassion was shown behind closed doors. Similarly, Anne de Gaulle, born in 1928 to Charles de Gaulle, the future president of France, and his wife Yvonne, was cherished at home, a rare act of inclusion for the time. and, who had Down syndrome, shared a close bond with her father, but her condition was kept from public discussion, and she rarely appeared at official events. Tragically, she died at age 20 from pneumonia, a loss that deeply affected her family, leading Yvonne to found the Foundation Anne de Gaulle, a hospital dedicated to children with disabilities. These stories, though documented, represent only a fraction of the countless royal children hidden throughout history. At Empress Secrets, we honor their memory and strive to bring their stories to light. Please like, share, and subscribe to join us in this mission. In medieval and early modern times, the treatment of royal children with disabilities was often far harsher. Historical records, though sparse due to deliberate concealment, suggest that such children were abandoned, sent to remote estates, or placed in monasteries and convents to live in obscurity. Some historians believe that infants with severe disabilities were quietly killed shortly after birth, their deaths disguised as natural to avoid scandal. In the Ottoman Empire, disabled royal children were reportedly confined to the cage, a luxurious but isolated palace quarter designed to keep them from public view. In China's Qing dynasty, disabled heirs were often removed from succession lines and secluded in distant estates, their existence erased from official chronicles. The Russian Romanovs, too, were known to hide children with disabilities, sending them to remote palaces or religious institutions under the guise of spiritual retreat. These practices were not mere cruelty, but a calculated effort to protect dynastic power, as monarchies relied on an image of divine favor and strength. A child perceived as imperfect was seen as a threat to the throne's legitimacy, leading to a legacy of isolation and erasure across cultures and continents. At Empress Secrets, we are dedicated to uncovering these truths, no matter how painful. Please like, share, and subscribe to support our journey into history's hidden corners. The stories of these royal children reveal a universal truth. No family, no matter how powerful, was immune to the fear of societal judgment. The pressure to maintain an image of divine favor and perfection led to heartbreaking decisions. Children were denied love, opportunities, and recognition simply because they did not fit society's narrow definition of perfection. In the Spanish court of the 16th century, for instance, a rumored disabled child of King Philip II was sent to a convent, with records altered to suggest a miscarriage. In the French Bourbon dynasty, children with intellectual disabilities were often raised by distant relatives in rural estates, far from the court's prying eyes. These stories, though less documented, echo the experiences of Nerissa, Katherine, Alexandrine, and Anne, showing a pattern of secrecy that transcended borders and eras. The fear of scandal outweighed familial bonds, leaving countless children to live in the shadows. At Empress Secrets, we believe these stories matter, and we are committed to bringing them to light. Please like, share, and subscribe to help us ensure that no child's story is forgotten. Today, the world is vastly different. People with Down syndrome have access to education, healthcare, and social support systems that enable them to live long, fulfilling lives. They attend schools, build careers, form relationships, and contribute meaningfully to their communities as actors, teachers, athletes, entrepreneurs, and advocates. Organizations like the National Down Syndrome Society and global initiatives have transformed perceptions, celebrating the abilities and individuality of those with Down syndrome. But this progress is recent. Only a few generations ago, even royal children with Down syndrome were locked away, their existence deemed an embarrassment or a flaw in the bloodline. The Bowes-Lyon sisters lived in isolation, their names erased from records. Alexandrine, though loved, was hidden from royal duties, and, though cherished, was shielded from public life. These stories remind us how fragile progress is and how quickly compassion can give way to fear when reputation is prioritized over humanity. At Empress Secrets, we are passionate about sharing these lessons to inspire change. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to join us in this mission and help us keep these stories alive. The lives of these royal children were deliberately buried, but their stories are not just historical footnotes. They are human experiences that deserve recognition. They were not statistics or whispered rumors, but individuals with dreams, emotions, and inherent worth, deserving of dignity and love. By remembering Nerissa and Katherine Bowes-Lyon, Princess Alexandrine of Prussia, Anne de Gaulle, and countless others whose names we may never know, we bring their lives out of the shadows and into the light where they always belonged. Their stories challenge us to build a society that embraces differences rather than hides them, to value humanity over image, and to ensure that no child, royal or otherwise, is ever treated as a secret. At Empress Secrets, we are committed to this mission, and we need your support to continue. Please like this video, share it with your community, and subscribe to Empress Secrets to join us in giving a voice to the voiceless. Your support helps us uncover these powerful stories, ensuring that every child's life is celebrated and remembered. These stories are more than historical accounts. They are lessons for today and a call to action. They remind us of the pain caused by secrecy and shame, the cost of prioritizing reputation over compassion, and the importance of embracing differences. Discrimination and stigma still linger in our world, and history warns us how easily progress can regress when fear and judgment take precedence. The royal children we've discussed lived in times when disability was considered shameful, a secret to be hidden at all costs, but their lives were as precious as any king or queen's. By sharing their stories, we honor their humanity and challenge ourselves to do better, to create a world where every individual is seen, valued, and celebrated. At Empress Secrets, we believe in the power of stories to inspire change, and we invite you to be part of this journey. Please like, share, and subscribe to Empress Secrets to stay connected and help us uncover more untold stories. Comment below with your thoughts, and let's keep the conversation going to ensure that no child is ever forgotten again. The legacy of these royal children is a reminder that progress is not guaranteed. It must be fought for and protected. Their stories teach us that compassion, inclusion, and acceptance are choices we must actively make, even in the face of societal pressures. At Empress Secrets, we are dedicated to this cause, to uncovering the truths history tried to bury, and to celebrating the lives of those who were silenced. We invite you to join us in this mission by liking this video, sharing it with others, and subscribing to Empress Secrets. Your support means the world to us and to the memory of these children. Together, we can make history by giving a voice to the voiceless, ensuring that every child, regardless of ability or difference, is loved, seen, and remembered. Let's build a world where no one is hidden, and let Empress Secrets lead the way. Like, share, and subscribe today to be part of this powerful journey.